Hi guys and girls, Emma again. Welcome back to the spare room. This is my new worktop here. I thought maybe I'll give you a bit of a look. This bench the drawers are a mess, but it's a modular system that's sold by the big box hardware here, Bunnings. It's pretty solid. It's not moving around. It's got two frames, one each end that have got cross pieces in them, and ball bearing drawers in the middle, and a shelf at the bottom. And they come with this piece of MDF. We have a look here. Oh, it's heavy. That sits down in this groove along here. And that's a bit weedy, so what I've done is I've got a bit of 30mm plywood. There's never going to be enough room in this workshop for a camera tripod and me. What I've done is put a piece of 30mm plywood on it, and because it's only 600 wide, I've put a splashback or a piece of 75 by 40 or something on the back here. So probably I'm going to mount the vise out on this end, and a pegboard down here, I think probably for hammers and things. But up here I want to bolt the shaper. What I've done is got this made up as a stainless steel tray, and a friend made this up as a favour, or I paid carton for it, which is a pretty good deal. We think 40-50 bucks is too much really to pay for something like this. You think, oh, it's only a bit of tin that's folded up. It's spot welded on the corners and it's got a safety edge on it. I guess there's probably half hour's work, and the average job shop here in Australia would bill out at probably $120 an hour. There's a bit of stainless in it, and they've gone to the trouble of putting a bit of silicone down the corners so that it's all water resistant and oil proof. So it's a pretty good little tray. I've set the shaper on it, and that's roughly about where it wants to be. It's not quite square. I'm going to get in and square it up. I'm going to use my long wrench marker and just mark the holes. So you get in and do that. I might centre punch them and just drill them with the pilot, and we'll find the place over here on the bench to put it and mark the bench too. So let's get in and do that. So what I've done is mark these with a Sharpie and centre punch the middle and drilled them. What I've discovered is that the distance from here to here is more than the distance from the drill to the column and the drill press. So I've done these by hand, and I've just run a pilot hole in there so I know where to drill the bench. And I'm going to get a uni bit and clean these up so the bolts go through them. We better find 5 bolts first. And this one needs to be big enough for the adjustment thread to go through the bench, because that sits down inside the drawer. So bit of a look in a bag of bolts, and we'll pick a drill size. So I found 4 of these, and they're probably a bit good, but I had them for a hold down job, and they're replaceable. I need 5, but 4 will do for a bit, and we'll get one next week. They're 10mm and 75mm long, so they're off the shelf. their own Bracos. They won't look too bad. I've got some washers. So I'm going to drill these a bit oversized because I don't know how close to on centre I am with any of these. This one here, we're just having a look. This one here is 5/8, so 16, 17 mil. I see what sort of I think I've got a 17 mil drill we might run through there in the bench, but we'll do these with a uni bit, which I actually found first time. Big enough for a bit of clearance in the tin, I think. This Bosch drill's pretty crappy, and one of the things on the list that I still need to find, and I will go and buy in the next couple of weeks, is a decent, probably DeWalt cordless drill, because to be honest this is useless. The drill's okay, the chuck's bad, and it tends to be a bit of a struggle to get anything in it. It's hard on the hands. The uni bit will be alright because it's hexagonal, but mostly the drill spins in it and it's just junk. I don't think it was particularly expensive. It's Ryobi, and it's probably the only Ryobi tool I've ever had that I really wasn't happy with, and the drill chuck's never been any good. Could probably put a new drill chuck on it, but to be honest, a decent drill chuck's probably worth more than a new drill, so I'm going to replace it. Yeah, well, that one was hot. It'll need to be one size bigger, I think. I guess everyone's seen a step bill or a uni bit, we call them here in Australia. Gives you a nice neat round hole in stainless steel or any sheet metal. Just the thing. So there's a big hole here in the front, which is for the adjustment leg on the table on the knee, and I've got 5 holes here to bolt it down, and they'll have clearance for these, lots of clearance for these holes here, these bolts. So next job will be to drill the bench and try and lift it all in place. So a crappy drill chuck kind of makes everything else crappy, because you don't use your good drills in it because they spin. So the only drills I had were blunt, and yeah, less than impressed all round, so we need to do something about that. And I'll put it on the list. Speaking of lists, I've seen mentioned a couple of times recently, All People, AVE in Canada, who's got to be the messiest YouTuber. He's got to have that distinction. And whenever I feel bad about my mess, I just go and sort of say, have a look at some of his videos, and all of a sudden realise that, to be honest, I'm not too bad. But there was a mention, or he had a shout out to Tom Sachs, who's a filmmaker, who has a video called 10 Bullets. Probably this is the essential difference between someone like ClickSpring and me, because I'm not that organised. But Google it and have a look, cause, or YouTube search it and have a look, because it's an interesting video. And there's some good guidelines there, and there's some things that I live by, but there's a lot of stuff that, yeah, I'd go crazy. Anyway, there's all our holes ready to go. This machine is really heavy, so I'm going to move the camera and make a lot of loud grunting noises and get it on here and drop some bolts in, and we'll see what we got. So they don't look too bad at all. There's one missing still. And there's this piece of the tray sticks up and it's got a bit of wobble in it there. I might have to put something on there, or probably just a wood screw down into the bench in each corner and take some of that out of there. If we have a look, it is a bit rattly. So pro tip, work out what size spanner you need for the nut before you put it on there down there, because you're fiddling around with a spanner trying to find one that fits isn't all that much fun. And we've run a couple of cuts across with it in this piece of aluminium. I've got a fairly blunt shear tool in there, but that's more than capable of taking off. Have a look. That chip there's about 40-50 thou. They're quite stocky. There's just a bit of scrap aluminium that I thought I'd clean up. Tool's not quite perfect for aluminium, but it's a machine that's more than capable of taking 40 thou off that block without a whole lot of effort. So like always, the problem here is a light, and this still needs a machine light, and that's going to be the next project for this. Herb Blair, actually in Texas, has promised a series on a little rechargeable LED bike light to make a machinery lamp, and I'm going to hold him to that because it looks like a really good thing. They come from Banggood, and it might be a project for the future. This tray means that I can oil this thing properly, because it does drip a bit, and over on the other bench she seems to have a puddle of oil under it all the time, but this will make it a little bit easier to keep clean. And I think that probably I will bolt the vise there, which is out of the way, and there's room for a long length through the doorway, and we'll put a pegboard down there. And now it's time to get in and finish putting this other bench together, because it's not yet. This is just all still loose. Need to screw that up, put some varnish on it, put some tools away, and start thinking about the next project. Thanks for watching, guys, and more soon.